So I'm Nikki Vachon, college access counselor at FAME. I I live in Bangor. I work from my house, but I serve Penobscot, Aroostook, Washington, Hancock counties, but really all over the state. We have a team of outreach folks that work in your area, wherever that might be. But like tonight, I'm going to Rockland. So you never know where I'm going to show up, right? Even if it's not my territory. So FAME, just so you know, we're a quasi-state entity, and what that means is that I kind of work for the state, but I kind of don't. So really what that all means to you all is that whatever we do is a free resource to you. We're a free resource to Mainers, so don't ever feel like you can't contact us because you'll have to pay for our services or for any of our information. It's all totally free. So what we're going to talk about today is just kind of how to make college more affordable. What are my best tips? I've been doing this for 20 some years, and these are my best tips on how to make school affordable. Anything that I say in this presentation is in this green book that we created to go along with our presentation. And you can either download this for free, or you can ask for us to send you a copy for free at famemain.com/publications. We got a lot of cool other stuff there. We're going to talk about what financial aid is, 3 steps to get it. We broke it down to 3 easy steps. Everyone can do this. What to do when financial aid isn't enough, and what other resources there are out there. So I'm just going to jump in with financial aid is there to help folks pay for school. There's 2 kinds of financial aid. There's merit-based aid and there's need-based aid. Merit-based aid is usually given out by the school for doing something awesome, right? Maybe you're a great musician or actor or athlete or whatever it is they're looking for. They might have some merit aid that they give out when you apply for admissions. It's kind of a way to lure you to go to that school. Totally legit. And I highly encourage people to work with schools that they're interested in to see how they get merit aid if they have any. And that way you can work your way towards the merit aid. Once you get accepted, the financial aid office looks at your financial need and they award need-based aid. And we figure out what your financial need is by doing what's called the FAFSA. And the FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Emphasis on free. I don't want anyone to pay for this to be done. We will help you for free. And honestly, it's not that bad. The FAFSA is one online form, opens October 1st every year. So last Saturday, the FAFSA opened for our seniors, right? Or anyone who plans to be in school next fall or the spring of 2024. So it's been a busy time of year. I love it. The FAFSA takes like half an hour. You don't need to know which school you're going to. You can list up to 10 schools. You can get help from us. I'm going to talk about the help that we have for you. But I want every single senior to fill out the FAFSA, no matter what your plans are. I want you to do the FAFSA for a few reasons. If you think you're taking a year off or you're not sure what your plans are, do the FAFSA, get it in place, and if you don't ever use it, you're out nothing but a half an hour. If you change your mind last minute, it's been done and sitting there waiting for you. I block out the week before college starts on my calendar because I get so many calls from people who say, I thought I knew what I was going to do, changed my mind. No judgment from me. But at that point, if you file your FAFSA that late, a lot of the free money is already gone. So let's get it done. Let's reserve your place in line. If you don't use it, no problem. If you don't think you're going to get anything, some scholarships ask for this, or to even get a student loan, you need to do the FAFSA. So I want every single senior to do it. Okay, you guys are all with me. I love that. All right, so 3 steps to making college affordable and doing this whole application process. As you guys are starting to think about what schools you want to go to, I want you to do this little exercise. Every school is required to have what's called a net price calculator on their website. So if you're looking at a school and you're thinking, I don't know, can we afford this? Like, what's this going to cost me in the end? This is a great dry run. You go to the school's website, you look up net price calculator. It takes like 2 minutes. It's super easy. it'll give you an estimate of how much financial aid they'll give you. Now, this tells you a few things. Should you apply to more schools? Because this might be kind of a reach financially. Should you really start looking for a lot of scholarships? Do you need to bulk up your savings? And it gives you an opportunity to have a conversation about, has the family, did they have any savings saved up? Or is the student going to be solely responsible for paying this bill? It's better to know now in October, or even like sophomore year. I love it when you have this conversation way early, because this gives the earlier the better, honestly. It gives the student time to prepare to either bring the grades up so they get more merit aid, or to really broaden their scope of schools they want to apply to, because maybe you'll get a better offer at another school. So this was really great conversation piece, right? Okay, I want you to apply to a few different schools. I love you at least to apply to at least 3 schools. It gives you options, right? So if you're only thinking of one college that you're interested in, the Big Future website down bottom this is a College Board website, and this is just a warehouse of information. There's filters here in the middle of the page where you can say, show me schools that are in Maine or wherever you want to be. Show me schools that offer the major you're looking for. And that is going to give you some schools that you can apply for that maybe you didn't know about. But what I really like is this filter at the top where you can click on the affordability tab and you can see, okay, I can apply to these schools, or I can filter down a little bit more and show me only schools that meet 100% of financial need. So what that means is they have a lot of financial aid. So I always like for folks to know, like, if financial aid is going to be really important to you, this is a great way to find some schools that meet your whole need. Okay. Anytime that you are doing research on your school and you see the word deadline, I want you to realize that is usually tied to money. So the school I worked at, you had to apply for admissions by a certain date to get considered for that merit aid. You had to do your FAFSA by a certain date to get our need-based aid that we offered from the school. So we created a worksheet on that green book I told you about earlier. You can get it at famemaine.com/publications. Page 25, we have this little tracking sheet. Gives you an idea of what kind of deadlines to look for. Also find out how you get aid at their school. We know every school is going to ask for the FAFSA, but some schools may ask for an additional form called the CSS profile. Now there's 3 schools in Maine that ask for this. It's Colby, Bates, and Bowdoin. What do we know about them? Super selective schools, amazing schools, 3 of the most expensive schools in Maine, but they also have great financial aid. So they use this extra form to really figure out who to give the money to. So those 3 schools are the only ones in Maine that ask for this extra form. I think there's 400 schools in Maine that ask for it. If you need help with this, please let me know. This is a deeper dive than the FAFSA. The FAFSA you can do in half an hour. CSS profile may take a little bit longer. I want you guys to start looking for scholarships. And this is not just senior year. I love it when young people apply for scholarships. So I really like this website, youcangoto.org, that not only has scholarships that you can search by month, like I did a search for October, and these are 2 scholarships that students can apply for now. One is for students going into the trades. This is the American Truck Scholarship. And then the Coca-Cola scholarships, this is for seniors. They give out 150 scholarships, and it's a lot based on community service. So keep in mind that you don't have to wait until January of senior year, although that's when the bulk of them are. You can start looking now. I want to draw your attention to the category down bottom. There is a middle school category. So they have scholarships they can find for middle school students. Okay, so something you guys can start looking at right now. You don't have to wait till senior year to get on this. Another thing I'd like to point out about this is that when you see a scholarship that would be perfect for you, but the deadline has passed, a lot of them come same time every year. So if you see a scholarship that had a deadline March 1st, put a note to yourself in February to look for that scholarship again, because a lot of them same time every year. Okay. famemaine.com/scholarships. We have scholarships for Maine students, or students that we found out about. So we have a listing there. You can filter out if you are a high school senior or even when you're in college. So that's something that doesn't just start in like grade school, up in high school, or you can continue doing this in college. So all kinds of scholarships to apply for there. I want you guys to save as much as you can, and every little bit counts. I know you're thinking if you're a high school senior, it's way too late in the game to get started. It is not. This 529 plan is Maine's 529. A 529 is an investing program. It's like your retirement account. You put money in, you hopefully make some earnings over time. Now, for my older students, you don't necessarily have time to make earnings, right? Where it's at for you is this matching grants. So when a Mainer opens an account, they put $100 in to get you started, but then match the money that you save at 30% a year. So that's up to $300 every year that you could earn in matching money. So if you open up an account tomorrow, let's say you put $1,000 in it, that's money that you can use for school, or for like my middle kid, he didn't use all his 529. We used the rest. We pulled it out and used it for a down payment on his house. So don't feel like that money's going anywhere. It's like a savings plan. At the end of the year, they take a snapshot of how much you've saved that year, and they put the matching money, usually hits your account by March of next year. You can continue to do this every year, even while in college. Okay, so something you can get started on right now. Okay, so my high school seniors, this is the last step of step one, getting ready. High school seniors, you all will need what's called an FSA ID. This is a username and password you're going to set up to get into the FAFSA. Remember, that's that one financial aid form all schools ask for. I want you to set this up as soon as you can and wait a couple days. So what happens behind the scenes is that you create this username and password. They ask for your social security number, your legal name, your date of birth. That record goes to Social Security, and about 1 to 3 days later, you get an email that says, way to go, you can use your ID now, everything matched. Or something does not match, you have to log back in. A lot of times there's a typo in the Social Security number. Some people maybe have entered the date of birth wrong. If I entered my information as Nikki, my legal name's Nicole, so I'd have to do it as Nicole. So keep in mind, that's what they're asking for. You also are going to need a personal email address and a cell phone number that can receive text. Now, you don't actually need both, but I would love it is when you set this up, if you do have access to a cell phone and an email, let's use both. Because let me just say, this is a safe place here. How many of us forget our passwords? Okay, me like every other day. So what this will do is when you a year from now can't remember your password, you can get texted or emailed a secure code and you can reset your password. If you forgot your username and password, you can be shown it by getting that code. So that's why we need it. Okay, new this year, students are also, there's a lot more heightened security. They really want to make sure the FAFSA is a safe website. So new this year, they are going to also give you a 12-digit backup code for those people who, like a lot of students will have a track phone or something where their cell phone changes all the time, or they might lose access to an old, like a high school email address. So they started this backup code. So when you set this up, I want you to be prepared to write down your information. I'm going to show you a tip in a minute. Also, one parent in the household will also need to set up an FSA ID. That's a username and password that the parent is going to use to sign their child's FAFSA. Or I'm going to talk about in a minute, when you're in the FAFSA application, you can link to the IRS and pull your tax data in. Well, you need that username and password to get out to the IRS website. So we need it for a few things. So if you are a parent who has done this before, you've already set up a username and password, maybe you have an older child or maybe you've been in college, you can't set up a new one. It's linked to your social security number. So that same username and password you use for your older child, you're going to use that again for the younger child. We just need to get texted or emailed a code. We can reset your password. Okay. Now, remember I told you I'm going to give you a tip. Go to our website. We have a resources and tools section. The website's at the bottom. I want you to either download or just use this as a template. You can print this or you can ask us to mail you one. This is probably the most valuable thing that you can have. I want you to write down that username and password. Put it someplace safe. So we created this worksheet as a place to write down your information as you create it. But also there's instructions on the top, and on the back side, there's tips to use your ID. So make sure as you set this up, write it down, keep it someplace safe. We might need this username and password for the next 14 years. So I know that sounds like a super long time, but think about every year you file the FAFSA, we gotta get that username and password. 10 years down the road, if you have a student loan and you wanna change your payment plan, you're gonna need that username and password to get into the website to do it. So that's why we need it for a long time. We created this super cute little animated video on how to set up your ID in case you guys get stuck, but you can always give me a call too. All right, that's all step one. We're cruising. Step two, October of senior year, your FAFSA will open, and that is at fafsa.gov. So my seniors, you guys can get in there right now. You can complete the FAFSA, and that is applying for aid for the next academic year, for the 23-24 academic year. So parents, if you all are in college, you guys can do this too. This is for anybody who's planning on being in school next year. Okay, set yourself a reminder or sign up to get our texts so that we can tell you every October it's time to do your FAFSA again, something we do every single year. Now, here's my best tips. When people say, how do I get the most money? I want you to fill out your FAFSA as soon as you can in October. Now, I don't mean October 1st, 2nd, like we're super early still. I want you to have this done before Halloween. Halloween's my birthday. So as a present to me, you guys will get that done, right? Of course you will. You're amazing. So every October, I want you to have it done before Halloween. If not, Thanksgiving. By Christmas, I'm just going to come to your house. I'm going to stand outside your window until you get it done. I don't know where you live. I'm just kidding. That's what I mean by late. Sometimes financial aid is first come, first serve. So I just want to make sure you guys get the crack at the money, okay? Now, when you sit down to do the FAFSA, you're going to want to have parent and student 2021 income information. So what do I mean by that? Did you file a federal tax return? If you did, I want you to have that handy. When you're in the FAFSA, it'll say, did you file a tax return? And if you did, it will say, do you want to link to the IRS website and pull in your tax data? It's called IRS data retrieval, and it is slick. I love this. Now, the IRS will verify your identity by saying what address is on your tax return. This one of the reasons why I want you to have it with you, because they are so picky, y'all. They are so picky. I was doing this the other day, and on the tax return, it says road written out. I was typing in RD period, and it wouldn't work. So I had to look at their tax return and go, oh, of course, type out road, right? Super picky. 9 times out of 10, this is going to work. No problems at all. But for that one time, when it doesn't work for no apparent reason, you got your taxes handy, you go back to the FAFSA, you just hand enter it. No problem. Okay, so I have mentioned the word parent a couple times, and not everybody has the same parent situation. So we created a checklist that on our website, you can see down bottom, things to get ready to do the FAFSA. But on the back of that, there's a really good chart about which parent to put on your FAFSA. So if you have a blended family like I do, I have 3 stepkids, they're looking for the parent the student lives with the most during the year. So my kids live with their mom and stepdad more than us. So it's their information on the FAFSA. We are not on that FAFSA, okay? There's some changes coming next year. The FAFSA is going to have a different look. There's a lot of big changes coming. The FAFSA is then going to ask about the parent that provides the most financial support. Now that may not change for you guys. That might be, they live with me, we provide most financial support. So it might not change from year to year. I just want to give folks a heads up that that's going to change next year. We are only looking at biological or adoptive parents. So if someone is living with a grandparent because it's just maybe it's not safe at home, or they're living with a friend's family, we don't list that family. We still want to try to get parent information, biological or adoptive. Now, if there's situations where a student is in legal guardianship, foster care, ward of the court, those folks don't need any parent information. Also, if you are a homeless student, no parent information is needed. You just have to get documentation. So keep in mind the FAFSA, for a lot of folks, they might think it's super complicated because their family situation is complicated. There's a pathway for you, and I will help you through it. So you're not by yourself. You come to me. We'll get her done. So let's go back to the front page of this checklist. Up top is a list of all the things needed before we sit down to do the FAFSA. Usernames and passwords, income information, easy peasy. On the bottom, we listed something that I think people get wrong every year when they fill out the FAFSA. The FAFSA may ask about assets, and not everyone is asked. But if you are asked about assets, keep in mind there's things we do list and things we don't list. We do list cash, checking, and savings. We don't list the house we live in or retirement accounts. So that's why we created this checklist, and we have on here which assets we do list and which ones we don't. We would list the value of a camp or a second property that you don't live in. So just keep in mind, this is one question people get wrong often. We got you covered. Okay, so now we're at step 3, it's follow up. We're cruising through this. A couple days after you file the FAFSA, you're going to get an email that your student aid report is available to view. This means your FAFSA done processing. So when you log back into FAFSA.gov, you can see at the top it's been processed, but there's these 3 links here I want to draw your attention to. The bottom is view student aid report. This is just a summary of everything you said on the FAFSA. Go take a peek at that and see if you entered everything correctly. If you said I had $1 million in income and that is not accurate, you're going to go to edit your FAFSA form and you can go back in and change it. If you have 20 schools you're applying to, remember we can only add 10. Pull your 10 in. Next time you go into the FAFSA, go to update schools. You can remove those 10 and add 10 more. Resubmit it. It goes out to those 10 new schools. If your scholarship application asks for a copy of your student aid report, that's where you're going to get it, right here at the bottom. Okay. All right. So let's say now you've been accepted. Financial aid office will look at your FAFSA. They're going to send you a financial aid offer. Now, this is a letter just saying, if you come to my school, this is how much aid we'll give you. This is a financial aid offer from Gryffindor College, which I'm going to someday. I'm just kidding. It's actually what UMaines look like. I just changed the name of it because I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. So they all look different, but they're all required to have the same pieces. So this is what I want you guys to look for. You're going to look for grants and scholarships, which I love. It's free money. We don't have to repay. Grants and scholarships, free money. I want you to go to the school's website and see how did you get that and how do you keep it? Because if I get like a Quidditch scholarship, but maybe I'm not going to play Quidditch, am I going to get that money? Probably not. At my school, we had certain scholarships for certain majors, and if you transferred, you would not get that scholarship possibly. I want you to know, am I getting it this year and every year after? Do I have to keep my grades above a certain level to keep getting it? That's important stuff to know, right? I love to have you guys look at the costs to go there. And that's usually listed on your aid offer. And to know what you're going to pay out of pocket, you've got your direct costs, tuition fees, room and board, minus all that free money. That's how you decipher if this is a good deal or not. That's how much you have to pay out of pocket for 1 year. Okay. I'm gonna refer back to this. So little Easter egg there. You might see work study on your aid offer. This sometimes looks like it's money to pay your bill, and it's not. This is a paycheck that you can earn from a job on campus. You are going to see on your aid offer a student loan, and you get this by doing the FAFSA. Every student who fills out the FAFSA is eligible for this. Now, this is a loan in the student's name, no credit needed. You can only get up to a certain amount. If you need to borrow, this is where I want you to start. It's the cheapest, most flexible loan you'll probably ever have. There's some forgiveness options. And it's pretty simple to administer and manage. So just let me know if you guys need help looking into how to get this loan. We have a whole website at famemaine.com/borrow where we have more information on borrowing student loans. Now, I'm going to preface this with saying I want you to get through without any student loans. Okay? So if you can, if you're like, I think we can swing this without taking out a student loan, let me put your mind at rest. This student loan on your aid offer is sitting there waiting for you. If at any time during the year you want to tap into it, it's there for you. If you think you can pay the bill without tapping into it, give that a shot and know that it's there later if you still need it. Okay? If you only need $500, you can tap into that. Okay. Super flexible, like I said earlier. Now, let's say you got accepted to 3 colleges. We created a worksheet for you to figure out that net price, what it cost you out of pocket for 1 year. And in this green book, it's on page 16, or you can go to our website because we have this fillable PDF and it'll do the math for you. This is where you're going to compare schools side by side and see what is going to cost the most and the least, what's going to be affordable, what's not. If you take those 8 offers and you plug in the informations, cost to go there minus the free money, that's what it costs you out of pocket for 1 year. If you're thinking, looking at a couple different colleges, this is a side-by-side comparison of what it costs. And sometimes you may love school A, but maybe school B is like 1/3 of the price. And that's a big deal when you're trying to decide which education you're buying. You're really just shopping for a college. Okay, as you're filling out the FAFSA, I want you to keep in mind that things change, right? So we're asking for 2021 income on the FAFSA, but maybe things have changed. Maybe 2021 was a good year for you guys and it's not that now. Or maybe someone's lost a job, parents get divorced, parents pass away. Maybe something has changed that affects your ability to pay, like huge medical expenses or house repairs. You fill out the FAFSA, giving them what they want, 2021 income. Then you can work with the financial aid office and tell them what's going on. If your family has a huge medical expense, you document that situation and the financial aid office will adjust your FAFSA. So you can ask for an appeal. This has always been the case even before the pandemic. It's very common, happens every day, so don't feel like this is something odd. No one suffers in silence, is what I'm saying. So what do you do when financial aid isn't enough? This is my short list, and I've got more ideas, but I just wanted to tell you, when someone says, I really want to go here, but it's just not enough aid, the first thing I'm going to ask is, do you have any savings? Because even if it's just a little bit, maybe we can bring that bill down enough for you to pay the rest of it in a payment plan, which is the bill per semester divided by months in the semester. That's a way cheaper option than taking out loans. Or you could do a mix. Put some savings in there, do a payment plan, and take out a student loan. You don't have to do one or the other. You can do a little bit of each, whatever it takes to get that bill down and keep your debt low. This is going to sound odd as a way to pay for school, but there are tax credits for someone in the household being in college. And it's a good tax credit. So my husband is a teacher, but he also has a freelance business. So we always end up paying in taxes until my stepson went to school and we got a huge refund. And it was because of this tax credit of him being in school. So we use that money to pay for next semester. Kind of a strategy for paying. Something to just tuck away. And when someone tells me, I can't afford to go to school, I say, have you heard that Maine now has free community college? You guys, I've been doing this for 20 some years. I never thought this would happen. Like, this is a big deal in my life. So here's the details with that. It's anyone graduating. This is high school, GED, high set. If you're graduating 2020 through 2023, so even folks that graduated a while ago, they can take advantage of this. You have to be a full-time student because you have 2 years to use this program. And you need 2 years. If you're going to have an associate's degree, you have to go full-time in order to get it done in 2 years. You have to be enrolled in a grant, in a degree seeking program. So you have to say, I am in this program. And you have to fill out the FAFSA. Now, let me just let you in on a secret. Many students who have always filed the FAFSA, a lot of times they have enough grant aid to pay for community college, to pay for tuition and fees. So even when this program ends, it may still be the case that community college is not only free, but sometimes you get excess funds sent back to you to pay for tuition, to pay for room and board, books, transportation, whatever. So keep in mind that I don't say it's a good PR move because it's an amazing PR move. It's just that for folks that said, I can't afford college, now they know they can, right? So even if someone qualifies for no tuition, no grants or scholarships, their tuition fees will be covered through this program. I just am tickled about this. So, okay. So backing this up, like I really want to go to school A, but I can't afford it. Think about possibly doing a year at the community college, then transferring to that other school, because that might save you a ton of money. First year students often take the same classes at every school: public speaking, English, some sort of math. If this is a thing that you want to do, 1 year at community college and then transfer later, I want you to work with both colleges and let them know what your plan is, because chances are they've already created a pathway for that to happen. They know what classes they'll accept, and they're going to tell you, okay, you can do that, but these are the classes you need to take, or that we will accept. So I don't want anyone to take a class that they maybe don't need later. So just communicate that. And they're totally cool with it. They know that's the plan. When I worked in financial aid, I referred people to community college to do 1 year there all the time. Okay, so I'm finishing up. I just wanted to say in that green book I mentioned earlier, page 23 and 24, we have a junior year and a senior year planning checklist. This is something I'd love to have you pull out, throw it on the fridge so that you keep it front of mind where you're at and what's coming down the pike, because this is kind of a year-long thing. It's always hardest right before you go into college, and then every year after that, applying for financial aid is way easier. So just a great reminder of what's happening. Okay, so on our website, fayman.com, we have all kinds of videos. We have a lot of calculators and tools. We have free publications you can order. We have that scholarship search that I mentioned is a great resource for you. I would love to have you go to faymain.com/join and sign up to get our texts or our emails. That's just a way that we can keep in touch with you every October when it's time to do the FAFSA. We also have a Facebook group called Paying for College from Me. We post scholarships here. We tell you what's going on and when. You can ask questions. So this is just for us. You can schedule a free financial aid coaching session with us. We have a scheduling software where you can book a half hour with me or one of my teammates, who they're amazing, by the way. But if one of those times doesn't work, just give me a call and we'll chat it out. I did want to mention that we are having in-person and virtual FAFSA help sessions this year. In-person is back. I'm tickled. We're going to have them all over the state. So if you go to famemain.com/events, you can see where we're going to be in your area. Tonight, like I said, I'm going to go to Rockland. But we also have these virtual help sessions. So you can join us by Zoom. We're doing a Zoom meeting. We do a quick demo. Then we send everyone to breakout rooms, and me and my team members, we pop in the rooms and answer questions so that you can have a confidential one-on-one with us and we can give you help. Okay, so famemain.com/events is where you go. You have to register for the virtual ones. The other sessions that are in person, you don't have to register, but we'd love it if you did, just so we have enough volunteer helpers there at that night. Okay, my contact information is down bottom. There's my email address and my phone number. If you guys give me a call, I promise I will get back to you within 24 hours. I spend a lot of time in the car, so I'd love to be able to return calls then. Hands-free, of course, I use my headset, but I'm often not answering the phone immediately because I'm either working with a student or doing some sort of a presentation. So you feel free to give me a call.